talking about Psychology of Persuasion.
Because there is a scientific factor to persuading. Welcome to the closing table with the Money Guys, Sidney Young and Jared Parrish. This episode is being brought to you by Allura Financial, AlluraFinancial.com, your source for real estate investment funding. Now, presenting the Money Guys. Sit down back there. The last row, sit down. Welcome to the closing table, Money Guys. My name is Sidney Young.
And Jared Parrish.
We're the Money Guys. We got
Yo money.
Now, as we always tell you, this show is being brought to you by Allura Financial,
AlluraFinancial.com.
All right. We practiced that.
Definitely getting better. Loving it.
One of us is cool, the other one's not. Take a guess which one that is.
Yeah. Sucks to be you, doesn't it?
Hey, guess what? It is Houston, Texas. Now, down in Houston, Texas, you can see the background. We're located in downtown Houston. The weather's changed the past couple of days in the mornings.
Mm-hmm. It's actually been pretty nice.
But, dude, it's like 104 here in a couple hours.
Heat index.
Heat index.
Yeah.
Feels like 120.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the mornings, it's like in 68, 69, which is almost like wintertime to us here in Houston.
You've actually had 68 degrees?
Yeah, we did.
Not me. Down on the south side of Houston, I mean, I'm lucky to get it down to the low 80s.
That's because you have more shootings down there.
Well, I mean, people are hotter. I mean, it's like, you're taking up my AC.
Now, that's another thing. Now in Texas, as long as you have a driver's license and no felony convictions, you can carry a gun. So guess what? The shootings are gone. Man, everyone's shooting out there.
Well, let's face it, man. There's just not enough police. People need to start policing themselves.
Yeah, let me tell you something. It's like the Wild Wild West. Now, everyone has a – I remember years ago seeing this cartoon where people are getting on the plane and they hand out the guns as they get on it. They take it back at the end.
Right.
You got to protect yourself.
I know, but it's been good. No, I've been enjoying the mornings, going out, jogging 3 miles in the morning. It's nice and cool.
Do me a favor, man. Put some clothes on next time, would you?
Oh, no. I'm not. I'm not this sexy thing. No, I'm looking too good.
Man,
gotta show it off to the world.
He's exercising. He's watching what he's eating. He's changing. I like that in the guy.
Hey, man. You know what? It adds a lot. I work better. I've noticed, I've never really taken into account how important it is to
show up to work.
Show up to work for one. But, exercising regularly, I mean, I think better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Feel
absolutely.
better, think better, you work better, a lot more productive.
But all these things in place boil down to one thing: self-improvement. Self-improvement is huge.
Absolutely.
It's China. It's huge. I was waiting for you to do your interpretation.
Yeah.
Anyway, but self-improvement's a big thing. Part of self-improvement in everyone. I don't care if you're a janitor. Everyone is in some sort of sales situation daily.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you're not in a sales position or if you don't own a business, there's times where, and a lot of the principles we're going to be going over today, people use on a daily basis.
Yep.
There was an interview with, it was a hostage negotiator for the FBI, and he says everyone has anywhere between 6 to 12 negotiations every day. He goes from just buying your coffee or having a discussion with your spouse or doing anything. And not everyone is really good at persuasion or negotiation. Well, I know we've covered negotiation in the past. So today, what we're going to be talking about is we're talking about Psychology of Persuasion.
Because there is a scientific factor to persuading.
There really is. And now we're going to be covering a lot of principles today, and we did put some notes together.
Principles? You know any of those?
We don't have any assistant principals. They're worthless anyway.
Yeah.
They like coach the girls' basketball team, so no. Okay. So with the principles we're going to be reviewing today, we did take a lot of notes. If anyone would like the notes from our shows or any future shows, as a matter of fact, email info@allurafinancial.com. You see the email address right there. Email us, request the notes from the show if there's anything on here that you would like to get in writing, so this way you can apply it to your daily life. We'd love to help you out.
Info@allurafinancial.com.
Yeah. So to kind of kick this off with our psychologies of persuasion, Now, keep in mind, this is not something that's going to teach you how to manipulate people. Well, I guess to a particular degree. Just don't use it for anything wrong. And just kind of let's
now,
dive into it.
You have an outline ideas on, but you've been doing this for years, just like me. These are just a few of the items. Oh, man, there's so many.
There really is. I mean, we're just kind of we're reviewing the basics. So for anyone that may have never been in sales before, there's actually a lot of people that have been in sales their whole lives and don't know the principles of it, and maybe some things that they've just used over and over. Maybe we're gonna highlight or show some bad habits that they may have. So we can definitely get into that.
Let's see what you got there, Spiffy.
All right. So for one, just kind of diving into this, the number one thing for me is, which is going to help you with everything else, is be observant.
What does that mean?
Be observant. Listen to them. Whoever you're talking to. Now, it could be over the phone. It could be in person. But be observant. Listen. If it's over the phone, I mean, you can't physically see their body language.
But you can hear
we can't
tone.
go into that. But, yeah, you can hear tone of voice. You can hear their
background. There's a baby crying in the background.
Exactly.
There's a dog barking.
Or more importantly, how they're talking. So you want to be observant to everything that they say and how they say it.
Is the person you're talking on the phone walking somewhere? Because guess what? That means your time's limited. They're getting ready to arrive where they're at. Are they getting in an elevator?
Do they sound agitated?
They say, so all these things. Another thing, if you're face-to-face, Bucky, you better be looking at body language.
Yeah, you better be.
Are my arms folded? If they are, we ain't going to talk no business.
Yeah. So being observant, I mean, and that's pretty simple, but in whatever industry you're in or however you're going to be using it, that you're going to kind of notice what you need to be observant of. If you're selling a product, you want to be extremely observant of everything that's related around that and related around the rapport that you're making. If they sound rushed, if they sound annoyed, if they're just constantly giving you one-line replies, yes, no, doesn't matter.
No, if you're talking to a guy on the phone and talking about trying to do your pitch or talk, yeah, and you're, come on, what's next? That tells you stop talking and say, hey, because this guy's just trying to rush you through it.
Yeah, and that's when you might back up and say, hey, man, I totally get that you may be in a rush. Is there a better time that we could talk?
Bingo, because you're wasting your time.
Yeah. Next thing for me, and this is kind of a big one, mirroring.
Oh, mirroring's huge.
Yeah. When you're talking, let's use the phone example again. If you're on the phone with someone, and let's just say they answer the phone, they've just got a real slow pace.
Yeah, let's say they're a dumb redneck. You put me on the phone, okay?
You want to mirror their mood, their tone, rhythm, and pace.
Oh,
if they talk really slowly, talk slowly.
Yep.
If let's just say they're in a real relaxed mood and their tone of voice is just kind of low because they're just kind of in the I don't give a shit kind of feel, match that. If they're real slow paced and you come in, hi, this is Johnny. I was wanting to give you a call real quick.
I can't stand those.
Nope. Because you're not going to jive with each other. Same, their tone, their rhythm. If they're more in just kind of a happy-go-lucky feel, follow along with that. So mirroring, you want to match the person that you're talking to because psychologically, and this is getting into the psychology of persuasion, is you're building rapport. Because now psychologically, they're gonna start trusting you more if you're on their same playing field. Does that make sense?
Go. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's a big one. I like number 3 for me. Don't be afraid of profanity.
Giving or taking?
Both. When you're talking to someone,
hey, motherfucker, how you doing?
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I mean, don't go, overboard on it. I mean, don't start, mother effing everything. But like, say for instance, first few lines that you've got with a guy, and he may sound skeptical, moderately laid back, not really excited about anything. Say you might want to match his skepticism a little bit. Say, listen, I understand you don't know me, I don't know you yet, and probably you've gotten a lot of phone calls about this already, and probably half of them are full of shit.
Hey, you know what? Let me tell you something. That just put him from a strip reader to a human being.
Yep, and you're good because everybody uses profanity. I mean, 95% of everyone uses profanity.
My mother doesn't. Okay, she does.
She falls in that 5%.
She does. No, she does.
Yeah, except when she stubs her toe. But you're gonna hear the F-bomb come.
But
in.
you know, Jared makes sense because that just puts you from you're personal other than the line.
Yeah, and especially if someone starts complaining about something, you want to get on their side of it. So once again, that kind of goes into mirroring. You want if they're complaining about something, jump on the bandwagon, complain about a little bit, throw in horse shit every now and then.
I don't know. I don't let people complain much to me on the phone. If someone's complaining about something on the phone, and especially if they're responsible for it. I wonder
how I've built more rapport with people than you.
Hey, here's my thing. He's got a valid point, but when someone's complaining, depends what business you're in, don't always jump on the complaining yes bandwagon. I mean, don't always agree with them because it may not be true.
All right, let me give you an example of why I like to jump on the complaining bandwagon to a moderate degree. I mean, once again, don't take them, Don't crank it up to 11 per se. Okay, so let's say I like to use something called feel, felt, found. So if someone's bitching about something, jump on it with them for a little bit and say, "Oh man, dude, that pisses me off too, man. I can't." One time I had that same thing happen. Give them a little quick example, and then say, "Now that really pissed me off," and they're going to say, "Well, goddamn right it did." And say, "Now, but what I found was." And then you can go ahead and throw in, as long as it's pertaining to your conversation, and you're not out here in another dimension. You want to make sure that you constantly keep them on the dialogue as far as whatever goods and services or whatever your agenda is. And as long as it applies to it, complain a little bit with them as far as whatever they're complaining about. Explain to them how yours can help that a little bit.
You got a good point, but I don't know. I enjoy more taking responsibility. You know what? That broke because your ass was running with it, and now you want me to give you a free one? Go fuck yourself. Anyway, next.
Yeah. Jokes and laughter. So
I'm good at that.
Yeah. When you're debating with someone and you're trying to persuade them to get onto your side of it, and you present your side, end your explanation with something that's funny.
You know what, Tracy? I sometimes start my conversation off with something ignorant.
Yeah. Well, then you become a person.
Yeah.
When you get them to laugh, psychologically, you're breaking down that wall. Because now, if they find something funny, now they're laughing. Now they're feeling more comfortable with you. There's a lot of psychology built into that. If you can get them to laugh while you're going through your pitch or when you're going through your explanation or however it is, it softens them up a little bit and brings them a little bit closer. Think about this.
You go to dinner with friends, you walk in a restaurant, you sit down, you place your order. What's the very next move someone's going to do? Someone's going to say something to get people more comfortable and cracked up around them.
Now, in a previous episode that we had, we talked a lot about tonality. This is when we were talking about neuro-linguistic programming or NLP or conversational hypnosis. And I said how you can say so many things just with the tone of your voice. Without actually having to say the words. And how your tone of voice can really change the meaning of it. Like just a single word, no. You can say no 2 different ways, and they mean completely different things.
Like someone says, "Will you reduce your fees?" My answer is, no.
Yeah, okay, but let's use that as an example. Someone says, "Hey, could you reduce your, can you come down low on your fees?" And if you go, "No, I really can't." That tells them, yes, I can.
But you don't want to.
I just don't want to. But if they say, "Hey, man, it's really expensive. Can you come down on your fees?" No. Just real short, quick, no. And psychologically to them, that's
the end of the story.
It's over. And that took me a long time to master because I was the other guy because I wanted to soften it a little bit.
But guess what? After you say that direct no, don't say another freaking word till they speak.
Yes, don't come back and try to explain it. Don't sit there and say, "Well, here's the reason why." No. Shut the hell up.
Next person to speak loses.
Yes, especially after a good hard no. Yeah, shut up. And just kind of let it go there. Now, a really strong portion of persuasion is the next portion of this. Okay, juxtaposition.
Who?
And I knew you were going to.
Chuck. Who the hell's Chuck?
Juxtaposition. It's Jux. Juxtaposition.
College, man. You see what that shit does to people?
This is when you're comparing 2 things side by side.
Okay, like you and me.
Yeah. One of us is good looking.
Thank you.
The other one isn't. See, you make me look so much better. See, and that's what I'm talking about. Value is relative.
What do you mean?
Everything is relative. Mm-hmm. It all depends on what you compare it to.
What is jux, though?
No, juxtaposition.
Yeah.
That's just a fancy word for comparison side by side.
Gotcha. Okay, you said that. Okay.
So with comparing it, it's making things relative. So let's say, for instance, you've got a 2015 Ford F-150 with 100,000 miles on it, okay? If you compare that to a 1995 Ford F-150 with 350,000 miles.
You can't.
This one looked great, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Now, what if you compare that 2015 with 100,000 miles on it to a 2020 with 5,000 miles on it? You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So it depends on what you compare it to. So when you can frame your product compared to something else and knowing that's the important thing. And I know that we're really talking, with everything in general. But when you compare it to the right thing, you can make your product or service look like $1 million. Like so, closing table with the money guys, right? So this is all real estate related. Let's say you're trying to buy a house. Okay. All right. So Sydney, you inherited a home. Now you have to sell it. Now I'm a wholesaler that's coming to you.
Who died?
Your aunt.
Maybe I didn't like her.
Maybe you didn't.
Okay.
But you just inherited a $250,000 house.
Well, I am, man.
Now you're probably going to want to sell it for $250,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I come over and I talk to you and I say, "Hey, man, how much are you willing to sell your house for?" And you say, "Well, it's worth $250,000." It's like, I know, but what did you want to sell it for?
$250.
$250, right? Of course, anybody would. It's like, you know what? Yeah, I could totally give you $250,000, but not in its current condition. And you say, "What are you talking about? The house is worth $250." Well, it would be worth $250 if the kitchen was updated, if there was new carpet, new paint, better lighting. Does it have regular copper pipes, or have you new water pipes? When was the last time you updated this? What's the condition of the roof? How many years old that? But then you start breaking everything down and say, well, I could definitely give you $250,000, but it looks to me like you're going to have to put in $65,000 in repair first. So do you want to pay for the repairs or me? Because if I'm paying for the repairs, I'd be a lot more comfortable at paying around $170,000 for the home.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. Kind of went to extended play. Yeah, juxing, man, got it.
So comparing those two, yeah.
And comparables are important because if these people we're getting ready to show you had compared themselves to what they should have done, they'd still be in business today. We'll be right back.
For great gifts at low, very low prices, come to Fry's, your electronic wonderland. Shop Fry's first for the best selection on anything and everything you'll want for the holidays. This Pacer USB mobile drive is now at the Fry's low price of $59.99. Get this full function Nico F-150 Harley-Davidson RC truck for only $24.99. This full-featured Panasonic DVD player is only $699. Remember, your best holiday buys are always at Fry's. Guaranteed.
They should have made more sales. Anyway, welcome to the Closing Table Money Guys. We're back.
So I went through some of mine. Be observant. Use mirroring. Don't be afraid of profanity. Use jokes and laughter with your pitch. And make sure you're comparing your product or service to something that's going to help you throughout the process. So, Sydney.
I'm going to talk about a few.
Another master persuader over here.
Oh?
A master persuader.
Oh, persuader. Okay.
Yeah. Not a baiter. But
anyway, that'll be on the opening. This is internet, not TV, so we can say all kinds of
we
things.
can say anything.
So anyway, let's talk about my thoughts on persuasion. A couple of things. One, the different style of sales. You got your phone sales, door-to-door sales. You've got across-the-desk sales. You got all these internet sales, which is chatting and stuff like that. Even in chatting and stuff, there's a lot of perception that you can bring in. I'm talking about perception. I'm talking about body language, perception, voice. It depends on the sales. So let's go with you people that actually have a desk and bring a client to your office and sit across the desk for them. Is your office a little rinky-dink 10 by 10? Nothing wrong with it. If it is, You just got to overcome some credibility issues. Do you have a large conference room in the building you could use versus your little 10 by 10 office? If you do, use a large conference room. Looks better. A client don't know you. They came to your office for your services, your expertise. You're supposed to be the expert. You could just be starting out and saying, and that's okay. But I've been a firm believer in perception, man.
The perception of value is amazing. And that's kind of, going back to my comparison thing, I mean, you're absolutely right, because having that right first impression. And
let me tell you, and I'm gonna bring up some of our Lure Financial stuff. When we first started Lure Financial and we were looking for office space, Jared lives way down South Houston. I live way North Houston. Our processor at the time lived over there in the Tomball area, and so we said, where are we gonna get our office?
Rather scattered,
and so we could have went to Pearland area where he lives, Woodlands area where I live. And we could have had an office in either one. I said, you know what? We agreed. Let's get one in downtown Houston. Here's why. You're the client. You call us up, Allure Financial, from Portland, Oregon. Where's your office located? Pearland, Texas. You don't know that. Woodlands, Texas. You don't know. My office located in downtown Houston.
They probably still think we ride horses to the office.
Probably do. My office located in downtown Houston. Boom. Instant credibility. You know Houston. You know downtown. And boom,
fourth largest city
we're a finance
country,
company.
So.
And you know what? Now it's been several years, and that little bitty thought about where to place your office and title and everything made a huge difference.
Absolutely, it's huge.
So perception. Now, go ahead.
With perception, I've always kind of compared that to like watches.
Yeah. Oh, I love watches.
So like you have a Seiko, and it just comes. Seiko's not a bad watch. Great watch. There's nothing wrong with it. I've got a couple. Yeah. But it comes in this little plastic piece of shit box.
Yeah.
And but then you have a Rolex, which is honestly, it works just as good. It's just as good as watch.
But it's a Rolex, dog.
But it's the brand, and it comes in this beautiful mahogany
Seiko
box,
right there.
Beautiful mahogany box, velvet interior, and you're paying for that allure of it.
Yeah, the allure of
the
it.
allure.
And so my thing is this: if you're going to do a face to face, be in a professional setting as much professional as you can.
Be the box.
Now, if you're selling auto parts, man, show up in your jeans, your shirt, T-shirt, and be an auto parts salesman. If you're selling professional service, I ain't saying in Houston it's 107 degrees out there some days. I don't wear a tie. Today I'm wearing this shirt because we don't have any face-to-face meetings. Typically, I wear a collared shirt. If it's wintertime, you'll see me with a business coat on. But in Houston, Texas, I ain't wearing that in the summertime.
Oh, yeah. Typically, I'm in coat and tie every day.
But our standard dress is jeans, a collared shirt. For a business meeting, jeans and collared shirt, pair of decent shoes.
That's us. Texas professional.
Yeah. And, we always take a business card with us. When you meet and greet, exchange business cards. Perception. People are looking at you as the expert, and the second you walk in that room, you may be the expert, but they're looking at you, they're judging you.
And body language goes along with it.
Body language is huge,
so
man.
You want to make sure, stand up straight, shoulders back, because that exudes confidence. And they want to see that. Be confident. You have to have the posture for it.
You got a man and a woman, husband and wife. When it comes to you being a male addressing that couple, she may be the dominant one doing all the speaking. You never know. No matter what the situation is, I always tell my salespeople, you only look at her from the shoulders up because he's watching you. He's watching. Well, it's just professional. That's what it is.
It is.
He's
watching you, so is she.
Yeah. And so always, don't ever break that code. Stay professional. Monitor your tone. The cursing thing on the phone, when you're in person, you sort of judge how you talk.
Yeah.
But that's face-to-face. Also, body language. Man, if you get there and their arms are folded, or and you can just tell that they're uptight, don't talk about business, man.
No. Now, you and I were discussing the show a little earlier today at lunch, and you said that there was one that you were going to bring up that was real important.
What was that?
Tie downs.
Oh, tie downs, very important. Tie down, tie down is where you make a statement.
Now, we're not talking about kinky, okay? We can cover that on another show.
He was dropped. Okay, I'm sorry. More than once. She dropped him once. That didn't work. Try it again. Okay, tie downs. Tie downs where you've got your pitch already in place. You've received an objection to your pitch. You answer that objection, then you ask an affirmative question that will lead to a close as a tie down. An example.
I want to explain something real quick because I like what he just said was ask an affirmative question. Ask them a question that they can say yes to.
Yes, bingo.
Not a question that they're going to say no to.
Mr. Jones, I know to spend $120 a month on this policy is probably a decent chunk for you to spend. And I understand. As soon as I presented that, I noticed a little objection. Now you ask me about, is there a way to make the fees lower and everything else? But let me ask you something. If something were to happen to you with your beautiful wife here and your family, look at little Joey and little Johnny, wouldn't you want to make sure that they're taken care of? Wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
That's a tie down.
Selling
What's he going to say? Hey, I don't give a shit about them.
I've had that before.
Yeah, because
I've had that before.
Yeah.
But
now, what are some other tie downs?
Some other tie downs. So just a
Wouldn't
tie
you
down.
agree?
A tie down is just getting them. They're like micro commitments.
Many yeses, like Tom Hopkins.
Exactly.
Did you ever read Tom Hopkins' books?
Yes.
He has one section about many yeses.
It's like, so wouldn't that make sense?
Yes.
That's a good tie down.
Yeah.
Does that sound fair enough?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
Wouldn't you agree?
Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't that just make it perfect?
Yeah.
Things like that, because you do want to get them in the habit of saying yes, because it just kind of brings that gap a little bit closer.
Yeah.
So the yeses, but I also like taking a tie down and overcoming an objection and putting them together.
Dude, that's a close.
So let's say, for instance, you've got someone, they're interested. You've gone through everything with them. They like you. They like them. Let's talk about a house. Okay, so this is a real estate show. Damn it.
Goddamn
All
right.
So they're interested in the house. Yeah, that looks great, but they're not committed yet. They're like still hem-hawing about it. So this is when you listen
Can
and
they
you
her
ask
all?
questions.
So the hem all?
No, it's only him.
Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, the women don't waver like that. They know. So they're really on the fence about it. That's when you need to ask those questions as far as find out what are they afraid of.
Yeah.
Because you need to find out what their positive and
Yep.
negative motivations are. Positive and negative motivations, it's what do they want and also what are they afraid of? Because you could play off of both. So let's say they're buying a house. They say, yeah, I really like it. Well, what is it that's concerning you about purchasing this house? Is it the neighborhood? Don't you like the neighborhood? Yes, we like the neighborhood. Don't you like the schools? Yes, I like the schools. Don't you like that this is the same size that you were asking me for?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I like that a lot. Isn't it the price that you were wanting? Kinda, it's a little higher than what we were expecting. Oh, so it's the price that's a concern. Well, not so much the price. Well, then what is it? What is it, mover?
Well,
it comes down to down payment.
Yeah, down payment.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. This is it. Let me ask you a question. If the down payment wasn't a problem, would you like to go ahead and sign a purchase agreement right now?
Absolutely. If
Absolutely.
if you can get that down payment down, sure.
And you only ask a question if you've got the answer ready for them, okay? So you only want to pose a problem if you already have a solution. So asking them something like that. Now, let's say, for instance, you're working with a lender that has down payment assistance. We have down payment assistance on certain products. So you say, listen, what if the down payment wasn't a problem? Would you like to go ahead and sign a purchase agreement right now? Yeah. Well, but that's still, to them, it's still an issue. It's like, well, our lender actually has down payment assistance. They can help you, and then you can go ahead and explain it. And then you come back and say, see, it's not a problem. Let's go ahead and sign here, press hard, you're making 3 copies.
Real quickly, before we run out of time here. Now, we're going to talk about the assumptive close. Always use an assumptive close, meaning once you've overcome those objections, you put that contract down and you look at them with a blank piece of paper, hand them a pen. Mr. and Ms. Jones, please spell your name out for me. I got to make sure I get your names right on this agreement. If they pick up a pen and start handwriting their name, boom, don't you look up. You take it and you start filling out your agreement, and boom. And you sit there and get signatures.
And assumptive close works great because sometimes people they're sold on it, but they're still a little gun shy as far as pulling the trigger.
Yep.
Now they may not have any real legitimate objections. Thank you. They may not have any really legitimate objections for you, but they're just nervous about pulling the trigger. When you utilize an assumptive close, you're just assuming that they're going to buy it anyway.
Remember, people hate being sold, but they love to buy.
Yes, absolutely. So if you ask them, so are you ready to go ahead and wrap this up now? No, I want to think about it. You could have avoided that by just, have them sign it now. Go ahead and if you could spell your first name on the top line And does that pin working for you? You know, and let them go through it. If you do it like that, that pushed them off.
There
the fence,
is
boom,
so much more to the psychology of sales, the psychology of persuasion, that we couldn't cover it during one podcast. No. But we're going to be putting on a class soon. So if you're interested, let us know. info@allurefinancial.com.
Yeah, if you want the notes from today's show, email us at info@allurefinancial.com and we'll send them right.
This has been Closing Table Money Guys. I'm Sidney Young.
And
we're the Money Guys. We got your money.